Kevyn Aucoin concealer in shade Super Natural. I really, really, really like this concealer. I've been using the same concealer for like the past maybe like 3 or 4 years, and this concealer by Kevyn Aucoin is so great. He was like a makeup artist, really, really famous in like the 90s, did a bunch of like the very famous like supermodels, and so his brand is great. But I will go in, like I said, this is shade Supernatural. Let's see, I'm gonna go in just kind of like in the corner of my eye and then on the sides over here, and this is just to kind of like bring up my eyes and brighten them a bit. But I don't want to do too much concealer underneath here, because when you do a ton underneath kind of in this area, I feel like it just like, especially in like if anyone were to take a flash picture, it just kind of looks like too much. So I will go in, like I said, in the corners here and here, and then kind of just go out like that. And I think it just gives this like elongated look to my face. I feel like you can really mess with concealer in a way to shape your face and contour it. So and then I'll go in where I'm like red. So right now I like have pretty full coverage, and so what I'm pretty much doing is just brightening different areas of my face. I'm not so much covering redness. However, I do have a pimple here, so I am going to cover this guy up in this one. So I'll cover my trouble spots, and then areas like this area, I always kind of get red underneath my nose right here. So I'll just use a tiny bit. It's super pigmented, which is great because you don't have to use a lot, you know, it'll last you for a while. And then I like to kind of add some brightness to the top of my nose to shape it, and then also some brightness here, and then a little bit below here. And I always do concealer on top of my foundation. When you do it underneath, it kind of just gets lost. So always do it on top, and then it kind of like seals the look and looks great. So now I'm going to go in with a beauty blender. This is just my personal one, but I did tag one in there that looks great. I think it's on sale for like, maybe it didn't add. Oh, I don't think it updated. Oh no. Oh well. But there's tons of beauty blenders on our site. I feel like most of them do the job pretty well. I don't think you need to spend an insane amount on a beauty blender, but you do get this damp before. So I did get this wet before, and now I'm going to go in and just kind of like blend it out. And it blends really nicely, just with some taps. You don't have to do too much. And then I'm going to go in with this corner here and just tap, blend it out, like I said with this thing. Really just kind of like brightening my face upwards. You can kind of see the difference. Obviously, I just have the product over here. But just blending that out. I also, when I have a little bit of excess on here, I'll go in and do my eyelid. I feel like just concealer is a really good prep for your eyeshadow. If you're planning on doing an eyeshadow, I feel like that looks so much better than that one has my crease. But just like the excess, like you don't need to put product on your eyelid. But if like once you're done with an area, you can kind of go in and just do the extra, go on the bridge of my nose here, just back in those areas, and just kind of blending it all out. I pretty much just use the tip of my beauty blender. Obviously this is concealer, so I'm just using very kind of like narrow pointed areas. But then I'll go in here, blend it up, and like I said, so now that I have some excess on my beauty blender, but not like a ton, I'll go in on my eyelid, which is just a really good prep for if you're doing eyeshadow. I also think it just kind of like makes the whole face look like all kind of one even skin tone, which is nice. So I feel like even if you aren't doing eyeshadow, it's still kind of a nice look to have that concealer on your eyelids like that. I have something in my eye. So that is the concealer. Not a ton different, but really great coverage, and kind of just brightened up a few different areas of my face. We have a lot of light coming in, so I'm trying to get the right lighting to show you, but just kind of made it really bright in some areas. But like I said, I love this concealer, Kevyn Aucoin, in the shade Super Natural, which they have a ton of different shades and colors as well. I like to go like one shade lighter than my skin tone. I feel like I can pretty much use that throughout the entire year, which is nice. So even into winter, and then you can always just like warm it up with bronzer, which is what I will do next. So this bronzer I actually used another bronzer for forever. I use the Hoola. I think it's by Benefit. Forever. I love Hoola. It was great. But I've been using this Kosas The Sun Show Moisture concealer,